Hey friends, welcome back to the Life of a Makeup Artist podcast. Now, this episode serves as the first of the season to just catch you up on my life as a makeup artist. Now, we have some amazing guests coming up this season, but I wanted to catch you up on the trial period that has been January, February, and March, and maybe this episode will serve as a reminder as you move throughout 2024. So, the first thing, take breaks. Now, every time I see someone, they're like, you're always busy, you're always out and about. And while that might be true sometimes, let me tell you something. I have content on my phone that is literally at least 2 years old. So sometimes you might fall into the trap of thinking that social media is real when I could be laying down in my bed, yet I'm posting that I'm out at an event. Like, I have really come to terms with taking breaks and not feeling guilty about it. And especially because I have just made 11 years in New York. 11 years. Like, do you understand? I think you do. Do you understand how fast time flies? And really and truly, over the last couple of years, I've really found the importance of just taking a break and really enjoying your life, because when you really think about it, time is flying by so fast. And I feel like I've talked about this on the podcast, but how are we already in Q2 of 2024? How is that even possible? I'm already thinking about 2025, 2026. Like, what is the life of a makeup artist going to be doing? But in those thoughts, I'm also like, all right, Jay, like, not every moment of every day has to be productive. You have to be able to reset and unplug and let your creative battery just recharge. And you know what I had to stop doing? I had to force myself to stop doing this. And I don't know if this happens to you, but sometimes you'd have a day and you're like, oh my God, I was so lazy today. I did absolutely nothing. I got up out of my bed at 11, at 12, at 1. And you kind of like, you're kind of beating yourself up about it, even though you're like, it's fine. I had to stop beating up myself about those things, because I'm like, listen, maybe your body needed that rest. Maybe you're on the verge of like catching a cold or something and your body just needed that rest. Even if you decide like, okay, I'm gonna stay in and I'm gonna just binge watch a show. Like, that's one thing for me. There was a period in my life, oh my God, I'm not proud of this, where I just did not want to watch like a lot of TV. I was just like, I have stuff to do. And I'm like, girl, like, do you know that by exposing yourself to different movies and shows, like, there is inspiration in that as well. The characters, their makeup, their hair, their being. There's so much inspiration all around us. And sometimes we can get that inspiration by just taking a break. So I hope this serves as a reminder that as we go into Q2, Q3, Q4, that it is okay for you to take a break, unplug, because it is just going to make you better at whatever you do. And secondly, definitely pick up a hobby if you don't have one. Now, I would hope that one of your hobbies is listening to the Life of a Makeup Artist podcast, okay? But really, I do find that I've been wanting to embark in different things, right? Like, over the last couple of years, like, I've taken swimming classes and I've done a bunch of different things. But I do think that having a hobby is important. One for me is reading. Now, I used to ask for books when I was younger. Like, you ask me what I want for Christmas, what I want for my birthday. I have like 10 books that I want. And that's what I used to ask for. And they were all fiction. And I used to lose myself in those stories. And as I've gotten older, obviously, like, I'm reading about business and finance and marketing. And I'm like, girl, yeah, you okay? Like, it's okay to take a break and like read something else. So I have dived right on back into fiction. I've been reading mostly romance. And when I went to Paris for my birthday, we actually stopped into this bookstore. My mom was like on the hunt for a book that was sold out everywhere. And as soon as I got in there, like, I just felt gravitated to a certain section of the bookstore. And my mom actually ended up getting me a ton of books. And I have been reading a bunch, I guess some authors I didn't know about, but like Kennedy Ryan, like people who are already super popular, but I was obviously late to the game. So I've been actually reading a lot. So, I just want to remind you that, if you don't have a hobby, if it's something that you want to try, even if it's just like a class, a painting class, sculpturing, whatever it is, like, try to find something as a creative outlet that is not your work. And my third reminder is to never stop learning. Now, I don't know what I was thinking. Actually, I do know what I was thinking. So, a friend of mine, Azareth, she actually forwarded me this course that she did, and it's on women's entrepreneurship. And I signed up for it because she's like, oh, it took me a year to get in. Tell me why it took me 2 weeks. And I told my friend Danielle, the Style of Beauty Doc, who has been a guest on the podcast. I was like, girl, I signed up for this thing. I don't think I'm going to have time. And she was like, girl, you're never going to have time. So you're just going to have to do it. And I so admire Danielle because she's also pursuing, something in skincare, furthering her education as a content creator in skincare. And I do think that, sometimes, we get to this level of like, we've learned so much, but I truly think you're never an expert if you stop learning. I think, especially as a makeup artist, you have to continue to test. There's so many new products, there's so much new technology in beauty. Like, if I'm not teaching myself about that and actually playing with the product, then what good am I to a client who would come to me and be like, oh, well, I saw this new thing, I've been trying it out, and I don't know nothing. Mm-mm. So I do think that, furthering your education, whether it's just like reading articles, like keeping up with different podcasts, like, I think that is enough. You just have to stay super tapped in. And I just want to encourage you to, whatever industry you're in. I know there's so many different types of people that listen to the podcast, but whatever industry you're in, like, know what's going on, read the articles, get on LinkedIn, do what you have to do to just make sure that you are ahead of, at least ahead of or in line with what's happening. So, as we look forward to Q2, Q3, Q4, I hope these tips helps you. Now, I have also been trying to take these tips myself because, as you guys know, I'm a pro artist with Ulta Beauty now, and I have quite a few trips coming up in April, some photo shoots and like some really exciting things while still doing the podcast and some other things that I have coming up. But, sometimes we use the excuse of being too busy to get things done. Now, I did not realize that I could make time for that entrepreneurship course that I'm doing, or make time to just get lost in a book. Like, you really have to find the time, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes of your day. I really love the book Atomic Habits. I read that maybe like 2-3 years ago. And, one of the tips that he said in the book is like to make whatever you're trying to do easy. So if it's like, okay, you're going to hot yoga, that's my jam. If you're going to hot yoga, you're going to yoga in the morning, exercise and stretching, just put things near to you. So if you want to read more, put the book right by your bedside or even on your bed. Sometimes I do that too. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget that we have a backstage crew. We have secret episodes and a ton of exciting things coming up. So make sure you hit the link in the show notes and also on our social media platforms at The Life of a Makeup Artist on Instagram and on TikTok. And I will see you guys in the next episode.